Hello, family. Have you heard of situations where a real man who has got a wife at home, and not just a wife, but a woman glowing with beauty, a woman that so many men would wish to have as a wife, but this man was got cheating with a house help, or he's cheating on this woman with the supermarket attendant, or he keeps on cheating on his wife with women of low standards. Now, I know society will always try to cover up things. For example, they will start saying, it's normal for a man to cheat, it's okay. Even in the Bible, Solomon had just such and such a number of wives, and all that nonsense. But the truth is, those are effects. That is a long-term effect of being a playboy. In this video, I'm going to share with you the long-term effect and the upward spiral of learning to be a playboy. And especially young people, the young boys, I want you to listen to this. Now, we are living in an era where the movies that our young people watch portray romance in such a way that it's such an admirable character for you to be the one playing around with women in a movie. I know, like, it's such a good thing. So every boy or young man wants to learn how to play around. So you find a boy in high school, he's determined to play around with different girls of different classes. At campus, the same thing. This young man is trying to hook up with this woman, chase for the other one, just to prove to his class of boys, just to prove to his crew that he's the king there. Now, that is what is being trumpeted. And they have not warned you that there is such a thing called addiction. And so you're doing it, you think you're having fun, and yet in actual sense, you're playing yourself out of permanent self-control. Let me first explain to you what addiction means. Addiction simply means your semi-permanent loss of self-control over something. I know you have heard about that word. You've seen people addicted to alcohol. How do they drink? It simply means such a person has lost their self-control over alcohol. Have you seen somebody addicted to gambling? It means they have lost their self-control over gambling. Now, what they don't tell you is this. The same neural procedure that makes you addicted to alcohol is the same procedure that makes you addicted to gambling. It is the same procedure that makes you addicted to sex. It is the same procedure that makes you addicted to drugs. It's the same thing happening. What happens? Okay, there is a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Okay, there is a part of the brain that deals with reward and motivation. In other words, when we do something, there is that natural process that happens in our brains to reward us, to motivate us. It's called a dopamine thrill. So when you do something that you have been wanting to do, that fulfillment is usually as a result of the process of your brain releasing the dopamine thrill. So you feel good. So each and every one has that part of the brain. It's called the emotional part of the brain. It's in the amygdala. Now, when you start to frequent to do, let's say, gambling, your source of happiness now changes to be gambling. It means other activities don't bring you happiness, but it is only gambling, which means your reaction to gambling is always the dopamine thrill. Your brain knows when you gamble, you get happiness in it. But now this is where the problem comes. When you, let's say, you do it once in a day, what the brain does, it reduces the reward. When you do it once today, It gives you a reward. But when you do it once again tomorrow, the brain, what it does, it wants to, for you to get the same kind of reward, you have to do it twice. Which means you might have to gamble twice tomorrow to get the same reward that you got yesterday when you gambled once. Which means the next day, for you to get the same reward, you might need to gamble 3 times. So as you continue going, it keeps on increasing. So it will reach a time now when for you not again to get pleasure, because the body will stop giving you pleasure because it will now become too much. So what the body will start doing is to condition you now to gamble for survival, which means you are no longer gambling to get happiness. Now you're gambling to survive. In other words, you cannot survive when you have not gambled, according to your brain. So that is what becomes addiction. When your brain stops rewarding you for what you have been doing, but now you're doing it to survive. For it to continue functioning, normally. When you don't do it, you are full of anxiety, you are scared, you are in fear. You feel like you should do it because you need it to survive, not to get happiness anymore. In other words, when you don't do it, you are sad. When you do it, you are happy. That's what we call addiction. Now, let's come back to the topic here. If you start playing around, let's say you are this boy that has watched so many movies. Now you're learning to play around. You're directing your brain to always tell you or to reward you when you are playing with a girl. So when you chase for this girl and you win her, your brain rewards you. Same procedure. Now, for you to get the same reward, now you need to chase for 2 girls. And that is how it continues. So it will reach a time when you will have to chase to survive, not again for happiness. This is now a point where you become an addict of chasing after women. That is why usually when you look at these men who cheat, it's not about whom they cheated. That's why someone can be someone who is respected from society, has a high position, but they are cheating with a maid, despite having a woman in the house glowing with beauty. So for them, it's not about the person, it's about their survival. So they need to sleep with that person for them to survive. Remember, it's not just one person. So they have to hide it in the cover of it's normal for a man to cheat. But the truth there is that person lost their self-control over sex and chasing after women long time ago. It perhaps started when they were young. Now the danger, when you do it now, you are actually changing the structure of your brain semi-permanently. It means you might not be able to function normally after again. That is why, if there is one thing I don't wish for a young person, is not more than addiction. Any kind, whether addiction to drugs, whether addiction to alcohol, whether addiction to sex, whether addiction to gambling, because usually recovering is a matter of life and death. Forget about this rehabilitation centers that you know. Let me tell you, the recovery rate of addicts is 3 out of 10. That's around 30%. So your chances perhaps of recovering fast are 3 out of 10. So that is why you see people in society have specialized in chasing after women. They are really making a lot of money, but their lifestyle is about women. So it's not about these women they are getting. It's about survival. They redirected their brains. So they are purposeless in life. Their lives are about chasing after women. Chasing after women. Dear young person, it's not stylish that you're chasing after girls. It's not stylish that you're chasing after. You're playing around. You might think you're winning, but the truth is you're playing yourself out of control. I don't want you to be an addict of sex, because your appetites will rule you. You will cry. It will reach a time when you will be embarrassed, but it will be a choice between being embarrassed and surviving. Of course, you will always go for survival. Don't do this. I hope this was helpful and an eye-opener. Cheers.